I'm not kidding you, man. This YouTube, TikTok stuff is awesome. Why? Because you could just give your point of view. And I educate myself through YouTube. I've been on YouTube for at least 10 years, but I've taken it seriously as a business now in the last year, not even a year. And I got a lot of momentum. And I talk about a few things. I talk about being an entrepreneur, what it was like, being divorced a couple times, having alimony. Now I'm really touching a nerve on the USPS opportunities. But I'll tell you something right now. You know who's really giving me life? Is the new administration. Just watching Trump having these game plans way before he was elected at 47 and implementing in first 6 months. And being a businessman as myself, I understand his strategies. I understand his negotiations. I understand why he picked the people that he picked. And believe me, when he was at 45, he couldn't get rid of some of these people that were incompetent. Now, he's making choices. And if they don't perform, they're out. And understand this guy's 79 years old at this point. He's got maybe, 3.5 years left to make something happen. He's going to make it happen, man. For the first 6 months of his strategy and execution and boots on the ground with himself and others, let's face it, we have hope in the United States today, especially for you go-go's. What I mean by a go-go is somebody that's out there to hustle. Now, here's my game plan for the next 6 months. Okay? You see how Trump keeps everything to himself until they set the seeds. And once they set the seeds, the Democrats are all over that fucker, right? And it's going to be unnegotiated, unnegotiable, unreasonable. Shoot it down. It hasn't happened. So here's my plan. I'm not going to share what I'm going to do. I don't share what I do. I haven't shared what I've done for years. I've just known I've had my own personal career goals, achievements, aspirations, and I've achieved them. Now, what are you going to do? The best thing to do, my recommendation, is write them down. I've journaled all my life, basically. Why? Because I forget shit. Then I have to be disciplined and focused, and I have to have priorities. And a lot of times I can't afford to do what I want to do. You got to be patient, especially if you're new to the game. For in other words, you're married young, you have children young, and all of a sudden you get divorced young. It changes everything, man. And you could either take, what route you're going to take? The positive route, the negative route, or the standstill route. That's right. What are you going to do about it? And to me, I love what Trump's doing because he's implementing business tactics, values, tax advantages, tax advice, especially for the retirees such as myself. Okay? Now, how I see the future for my kids that are in their 50s, 40s, they'll cry if I said 50s. They're in their 40s, okay? I'm in my 70s. I'm closer to be 80 and 100 than I am to 50, correct? Well, guess what? I've achieved what I need to achieve. Now, what am I going to do? As I mentioned, I got a game plan. 3 things that I want you to start looking at very seriously, especially if you're 40 plus. Married, single, children, no children, whatever it is. And Trump's going to help you get there. Number 1, tax advice. You need somebody to understand your financial situation because you need to build it. Because that's one thing I have to admit. Now that I'm in my 70s, Social Security was important. Retirement funding was important. Being happy and having goals in life. Having friends and mentors. And what else could I say? Hobbies. I'm in Florida for 23 years. I just took up bowling and I love it. Why? Because I gave up golf. Golf took too much time, too much effort. That's what you guys got to start thinking about. And then you bring your kids in. When my kids were young, we went to golf. We bowled. We played card games. But they were always in sports. And to me, if I could coach my kids, I would do it. And I was very fortunate because I was in sales and marketing, so I could schedule what I needed to do. And I'm a workaholic on top of it. And I had very high expectations, not for everybody else, but for myself, because I saw in the future. And understand, my father is 100 years old. And there's 11 of us, 11 children. And all the children are still alive. And we're all in different boats. Some are entrepreneurial, some aren't, and so on. Okay? Now, I realized I couldn't count on anybody, but one thing my father taught me was to save for a rainy day and live amongst your means. And even though I had to support lifetime alimony, 2 households, child support, education, what else? Everything. Providing services. And what I know today is, hold it here. You don't have to take care of anybody else. You just make sure you take care of yourself, because once you take care of yourself, you could pass that on to your children and give them the role, mentorship, as my father gave me, which was basically stay the course, be disciplined, do everything in moderation, no addictions, no drugs, no alcohol, no gambling, no food. Those are all addictions. And you get fucked up in the head. You know what I'm saying? Very hard to be disciplined. And always consider yourself a winner, because you're going to have doubt. And you're going to have people that do not like you for whatever reason. There could be envy. There could be jealousy. They want to covet yourself. Okay? Think about the 10 Commandments. Adultery. Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife or spouse. Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's goods. Believe me, you got enemies out there. And there's evil out there, as you know. So my message today basically is get your shit together and start looking at a few things. Number one, no matter what age you are, because I've done it, and you could do it. And I'm trying to teach my kids and my grandchildren. Save for that rainy day, your retirement, because that retirement is important. And always be employed. Don't say, I'm not going to pay alimony. I'm not going to pay child support. I'm unemployed. Well, guess what? You're going to pay the price at Social Security. Social Security is not going anywhere, man. It's not going anywhere. Okay? That's key. So think retirement. Think mental health and your overall health. Okay? Because you don't know if you're going to get to the finish line. All right? That's your legacy, is doing all the right things. Now, I'm looking at the situation in the future, saying to myself, well, hold it. If I was 30 years younger, what would I do? As you know, I've just started up an online business, which is YouTube and TikTok, but I have an e-commerce store also. So I'm going to build that. Okay? I'm building it under my brand, my name. Okay? I've got publications, I got other things. But why am I doing this? I'm having fun with it. I like it. I want to help other people. That's what I do. And that's what you might want to do. Have a gig. But here's where I'm going to invest. I'm investing in not only America, I'm also investing in Asia. Asia is the future. That's what they call the emerging markets. Start talking about emerging markets in your vocabulary to your broker, okay? Or start studying it, all right, financially. Number two, your tax advisor is going to be very, very important for your future. Even though you're going to say to yourself, well, I can't afford that. Well, you can not afford tax advice. That's what I've learned over the last 30 years. Tax advice. All right? And there's a strategy. Why do you think all these billionaires and trillionaires and multimillionaires, They all got tax advisors. They all got lawyers. It's all part of the game, man. And you could do that. Now, the other area that I think is going to be very important for the younger people is the opportunity to work for the USPS. I think there's going to be a lot of change in delivery services. You see Amazon, you see UPS, you see FedEx, but don't underestimate the USPS. Why? They have a new sheriff in town. It's not Trump. It's David Steiner, who's making changes. He only took over July 1st, so look at the next 6 months. Look at their game plan. They've already made their cuts through nutrition and retirement and severance pays and so on. Now they're looking for more people, at least 20,000 people. They employ over 600,000, almost 700,000 employees. And you got the federal government backing it up. Who's going to file bankruptcy quicker? A public company or the federal government? Believe me, you're in great shape. And I do not know any unhappy USPS retirees. And I know some. Okay? And they were retired in the early 40s. And the military guys and women, even better. It's just job is sitting waiting for you. The key is having a good track record. Having a track record. So you could go on USPS.com/careers and take your choice. Take a shot. Even if you're employed now. Well, Rock, that's a toxic place to work, I heard. Who cares? It's up to you. There's good people and bad people in every organization. Who's going to suck up? I know people that hide just to say, I got my 20 years in, or I got my 40 years in, or whatever it is. And believe me, when they get let go, it's a shame because they go into depression. So live your life and start thinking about saving for a rainy day, taking care of your families, possibly changing your careers, saving for retirement, because I'm there. I'm there, and I have Social Security. I have Medicare. I have health care. I have dental care. All that because I can afford doing it. I have retirements. And there's always a strategy of an agency account, a 401k, matching, and so on. There's there's Roth conversions. There's so many things that you have to take care of yourself. And if you're employed by the USPS, you got so many better benefits than these other three players. And believe me, the new leadership is going to make it happen. So those are the things that my advice is you know what? You got 6 months left. You got the holidays coming up. You got the third and fourth quarter coming up. And believe me, if you're unhappy now, it's going to be worse in January. If you're working for a bad employer or a family business that doesn't take care of its employees or doesn't share communications or doesn't share benefits and so on. So if you got a complaint, better yourself. One thing my son always says to me is, Dad, the best thing you got is your capital asset. You know what that is? That's you. That's you. You're your capital asset. You're the one that is valued. And you can find out. This is what happens in sports. They know the statistics on you. They know your value. And sometimes they go, well, you know what? We no longer want you. We're going to cut you or we're going to trade you or whatever it is. Well, you know what? Sometimes it's best to do that because you have a better coach on the other side or somebody that really wants you and values you. That's what you want. It's just like, having a bad marriage. How are you going to grow that marriage if you're fighting all the time? Or if you don't appreciate or respect? That's another word that you need to understand. Respect. How many people do not respect their employers? They do not respect their spouse. Condescending. Takers. I call them takers. Are you a giver or taker? You could be in the middle, but you have to have courage to make some big decisions. in how to say no, when to say no. Because eventually, I believe, after 50 years of being in business, in the last 5 years, I've learned how to say no. And it's really helped me because now I could spend time with people that we partner with, that want to grow together. And I'm in the merger and acquisition business, which is making deals between a buyer and a seller. And I usually don't have a problem with the buyer. I have the problem with the seller because they overvalue themselves or they overvalue their business, and it's not true. And so that's when you have to learn how to cut loose and make sure you pick the right horse. And the earlier you can do that, the better. Sometimes that horse or your employer or your spouse cuts you loose and it makes you a free person. And then that's when you become independent and free. Okay? So I'm just so excited about 3 things that I'm really focused on. And that's my retirement package, which I'm gaining momentum even at my age. Number 2, the opportunity to share my voice and my messages on social media, including LinkedIn, growing my business that I've had for years and years and years, and diversifying, and also talking about you younger entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs that you want to make something happen and really make a difference. That's exciting for me. And then last of all is Vietnam. I'm very excited about Vietnam. Very excited about Vietnam. So these strategies and ambition and goals is all because Trump's administration has changed the game for the elderly like me. Really changed the game because there's a lot of tax opportunities, tax options, and that's because Trump is an entrepreneur. He understands business. And he realizes that the elderly could really make a difference. And what does that do? That's the employers. That's the founders to help who? The next generation. That's who I want to help. I want to help my grandchildren. I want to help the Vietnamese in the entrepreneur and manufacturing domestically, making it happen. Okay? These are my messages. And USPS, it's a great opportunity for you younger people that want to have a great life through great hard work, because that's what it's going to take. Okay? But they'll treat you right. And now with the new vehicles coming in, the air conditioning, the pay, the years of service, the security over these other, they're going to grow. And they're number 2 right now under USPS. They're going to be number 1 within 3 years, believe me. And Trump's supporting USPS. Okay? And he had an opportunity to pick the right person, and that's Steiner. Steiner, he had an influence to pick that guy. And why? He's a business guy. Steiner's a business guy. And Doge identified that, oh my God, we could fix this and really make it number 1. These guys are winners. Don't you want to be a winner? Yeah, you want to be a winner. So go for it, kids. I'll talk to you soon. This is Rock. God bless you. Talk to you soon.